Lord have mercy. I'm not sure how many people are going to make it in here, especially my people from Prime, considering that they were just on an hour-long safety meeting. But we'll see. Just trying to pass some time. I'm waiting for Road Assist to get out here. It has not been the best of luck. So any of you guys that are thinking about getting into trucking, this could be Prime, this could be, Swift, Hirschbach, whoever. Think about these bills before you think about that lease. It's easy to look at the money when it's coming in. It's hard to look at that shit when it's going out. What's up, Tim Travels, Rusty man? Why? Nice little meeting today. Another ultimatum. I'm not gonna like dwell on that all that much. But right now, I talked to Tim Travels, Terry, the other day, or yesterday as a matter of fact, about some issues that I had. Now all of a sudden I think my starter's out. So I'm sitting up here at this Cinex and damn, I forgot to see where I was actually at. But I'm at a Cinex in Nebraska right now. Maybe about 50 miles east of North Platte is where I'm at right now. Romaine the trucker, hey, listen, I'm telling you, that little thread on that comment got a little past me. I was just trying to give you a little bit of a tip. And then somebody else wanted to take a little bit further. So, but I did want to tell you, just in general, the more people you have to talk to, the easier this job is going to be. You know what I mean? So, get you a nice group of people that you could talk to kind of walk you through some stuff. I know you tell stories for effect and all that kind of stuff, but, still, the more people you talk to, and here's some people I talk to about stuff. Rusty Man, he's somebody I'll talk to. Terry over at Tim Travels, I talk to him a lot. There's probably going to be several other people that might make it in here that I talk to about things to make my daily life easier. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's talk about what I'm doing. Well, right now I'm waiting for Road Assist to get out here. Like I said, I'm at Cinex right now. Think it's a starter or something along those lines. I'm really not sweating it. There comes a certain point where you've been fucked so much that shit just is like another day. So I'm waiting for them to come. I got till like midnight tomorrow night to deliver, and I'm like 300 miles away. So that's kind of what's up as far as me immediately right now. I'm on my way back to Denver after recovering this truck in Georgia. Now, this wasn't a bad recovery. This wasn't like I had a driver just say, you know what, screw Lyle, I'm dropping off a truck. But I had a driver go down in Savannah, Georgia, and she was planning on leaving sometime around now anyway. This happened a couple weeks ago or something like that. And we just made up our mind that, you know what, why don't you just go home and just call it the end right now, and I'll just go out there and get the truck in Georgia. So I had a truck that was in Denver they said it was going to need a new engine. Really all it needed was a new cam in that engine, plus some kind of oil pan leak or something like that. All that stuff is going to be under warranty, but I also needed to get a DOT inspection on it. And here's some advice, and I really never thought about it. I just thought, a DOT inspection, just get it done at the terminal. Depending on how old your truck is, get that shit done at a dealership, because dealerships are going to get paid for doing warranty work on your truck anyway. So when I went out to get this truck inspected, they came up with a couple items or whatever, but the one item they came up with that only Peterbilt could do, which was the only thing they caught, was this oil pan leak or something like that. It needed to get resealed or something like that. Had I not taken this truck to Peterbilt, all that warranty work wouldn't have been done. So that's going to be my suggestion. Hey, Mob Entertainment, I was just out there in Savannah, Georgia, actually Pooler, Georgia, picking up my truck last week. That's a nice little airport out there. I had to thug it out in that airport. I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, I had my truck in Denver. I got a call saying my truck in Georgia was done, so I flew out there to Savannah. I flew out to the Savannah airport, and let's start from the beginning. So I get a nice little flight out there, and you can only bring but so much stuff, right? So I brought a couple bags. So right now, I really feel like I ain't got no tools. I ain't got shit on this truck, really. But that's a side note. So I get to the airport, and I have never seen a crew of older flight attendants in my life. I'm 56 years old, and I will guarantee that I was younger than every single one of them. And then there was only like 5 of them, and 3 of them were dudes. Now, you got all these people getting mad because, you know, you got like guys that turn themselves into females, and then they go and wrestle or swim or whatever against, like, you know, women and stuff, real women or, you know, biological women. But I'd almost have to say the same thing about male flight attendants. You know, they're taking away good female jobs right there. You know, so I'm out there and I'm just looking at all these old people. I'm like, you know, if something happens on this plane, we are on our own. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, fly out there. The flight was delayed. I'm trying to just tell a story like Romaine. So I'm flying and I'm flying and I'm flying, and it's getting delayed. So I get out there at like 10 p.m. Savannah, Georgia. Now, the dealership opens at 6 in the morning. I didn't want to get a Uber and go to a hotel and pay for Uber twice and a hotel, so I just thugged it out in the airport. And that is some hard sleeping right there when you're sleeping in the airport. So, slept in the airport, or tried to. I didn't even fall asleep. Left there at like 6 o'clock, went to go pick up my truck, and I'm thinking I'm going to get some time to rest. So, I started my day at 5 a.m. I got to the Peterbilt dealership at 6 a.m. Still didn't sleep. And as soon as I land, as soon as I pick up the truck, I got a load to pick up in like McDonough, Georgia. But they want me to pick up a trailer in Douglas, Georgia. So I look at that and I'm like, this ain't making no sense. So I was like, you need to find a different trailer solution because that's not working for me. So then they're like, you know, we'll pay you to, you know, do all this and everything. So anyway, get out there, pick up that trailer from a Walmart, get up to McDonough I was picking up at Bayer in McDonough. Nice load, 10,000 pounds, all this kind of stuff. And that load was going to, shit, I can't even remember now. It doesn't matter. 10,000 pound load. But I was just going to stay overnight at that Bayer place because, you know, by the time I shut down, it was like 6 p.m. So we're talking about 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we're almost talking like 37, 38 hours dealing with all that. So that was some good sleep when I did go to sleep. But anyway, so that's that. Tell my fleet manager I got to get out to Colorado to drop off this truck. Now this truck, I want to keep the miles low on it, so I'm just going to drop this off of the yard, move over to my 21, and let this one sit a while and marinate, and then come up with some other solutions from there. So that's kind of what I was in the plan of doing right now. But just a lot of stuff going on, man. I had a driver that we got absolutely fucked on a load. Me and my newest driver, he got a load, excellent load for him, excellent load for me. Goes and picks it up in Dodge City or Liberal, Kansas, one of those two. Did a pre-trip on the trailer, and it failed the pre-trip. So the road assist guy's like, okay, just bring it by the terminal. Man, before he even got to the terminal, they'd already given that load to somebody else. We could not fight hard enough for that load. They took him off that load. So he'd already waited 24 hours at the shipper, or 18 hours at the shipper. No detention available on that load. Then goes to the terminal. They steal the load from him. He had he had more than enough time on this load to get this load done. And the bullshit that they told me was that they wanted to make sure the load got covered, and they put it on a team. Well, if that's the case, if you were putting that load on a team, you would have had not only the 10 hours that my driver was going to take a break there, but you were also going to have an extra 24 hours on that load. So what I feel is they had teams sitting up at the terminal, and they just wanted to get a team on a load, so they screwed us out of it. I am so pissed off about that I sent a message to my fleet manager, and I said, this is just setting a bad precedent. Because you know what? Now, if I got an issue with the trailer, you know what? We're going to roll the dice on that bad boy. And if it goes, it goes. But I'd rather lose a little bit of money on a claim than lose all that money that we lost and all the miles he lost on that. That was some bullshit right there. This is like a week ago. I'm still pissed off at that shit. So anyway, that's that. What else is going on? Now, outside of this truck, I think it's a starter. That's at least what we're saying. It was nice to get back in this 22 Peterbilt. I'm still amazed how much smoother this 22 is compared to my 21. So, it was nice driving this while it lasted. I just can't wait to get this back and marinate it, because I'm going to run the shit out of this 21 for a while. Just to get my money's worth out of it, since they ain't selling for shit. Let's see. Rusty says he's with me on the flight attendants. Man, and listen, Lord knows I ain't got no issue. Personally, I don't have any issues with, any gay people, homosexuals, whatever. But, just the way that, I had the guy that was like the flight attendant right next to me. And first of all, I ended up doing a first class ticket, which really wasn't that much more than a standard ticket. Plus I got the 2 carry-on bags and all the shit. Now, I haven't flown in a while. I used to fly every 2 weeks back in the day when I was in the mortgage business, but I have never been on a flight where they charged you for a regular soda. Come on now. So, damn, what was my point? Oh, yeah, so the guy's getting all sassy with me and shit at the end of the flight. I'm like, it was Frontier, too, by the way. But I had, like, this first class thing, and then the middle seat was empty. Actually, I had 2 seats next to me that were empty, but one was going to be empty anyway. And the flight attendant's like, would you like me to take your napkin, or did you want to take it home and frame it? I was like, listen, I'm beyond all this little, I'm beyond all of this, comedy and shit right now. I'm a little pissed off right now, because I have been hemorrhaging fucking money. I don't know how many times I need to say this. It's just been brutal. And like I keep saying, all I got to do is make it to December, and I'm going to make it to December. I mean, I have the money. All I got to do is pull the trigger. For some reason, things get too bad, but it's just like everything that can go wrong. So if you're thinking about leasing, think about this shit. And think about why there aren't as many company drivers at Prime right now. Lease drivers are shouldering all of that right now. They're shouldering all of those liabilities right now. Doesn't mean it's a bad system, but it does mean that there's not as much liability on the company. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's see. Let's talk about poop. Well, there ain't much to say about that. Hey, Mob, I was thinking about you when I was out there, man, because I know you tent up trucks and everything. And if literally I was gonna have an extra day when I was out there, I was almost thinking about calling and seeing if you could fit me in to get some tint on these windows, but I wasn't gonna have time to do that when I was out there because I needed to get humming right away. I'm already losing money. I just didn't want to lose even more money. All right, Rusty, you're probably going to see my truck, hopefully, at the yard when you pull in there tomorrow. Maybe 2 of the trucks. You might even see me up there. No, I'm picking up my other truck on Monday. Tim Travels is on 49, Arkansas. Hey, Romaine, there is nothing wrong with leasing, but I think that a lot of people get into these leases and not really understand how much of that liability falls on them. And, you know, lately it seems like they're trying to shove a lot more responsibility on lease drivers that they weren't really pushing on people as much before. Before it was like, you know what, if something happened with the trailer tire, you know, you just go get it fixed, and the trailer, you know, if it was work on a trailer, you know, Prime pays for that. Now they're out there trying to use forensics to put the blame on the driver to see who gets to pay that deductible. So it's a lot to go into it. Like I said, I think that it's a good idea to kind of get your feet wet on the company side, then kind of move over. And if you have one of those guys with a small fleet that's looking at hiring somebody brand new out of PSD, woo! Not a suggestion I would make to anybody out there that has a small fleet, but if you were gonna find somebody that had a small fleet that was gonna go ahead and shoulder that liability, that's probably the best route to go. But yeah, company allows you to start understanding your clock, how different processes work, you know, things like that. You know, a lot of people that have been in training don't know how to, like, I stopped at this Cinex here for a 30-minute break, and then when I stopped and tried to start my truck, it wouldn't start again, right? A lot of people that don't know any better, a lot of brand new people out of training would have been like, what's their first thing? I'm gonna call my road assist guy. I've been stuck on the side of the road, whether it be trailer issues, truck issues, you know, whatever. I have picked up the phone one time and got things handled. Other than that, everything's been able to get done on the app. And unless it's an emergency, that's the way to do it. A lot of brand new people just don't know that. So, little things like that. But, that's kind of the situation I'm in. I'm not in necessarily a hurry for them to get out here. Tim Travels will know why I'm saying it's daylight out right now. I really don't plan on driving until about, let's see, how many miles am I away?
You are out of hours of service driving time. You are out of hours of service driving time.
5 hours away from the Cheyenne, Wyoming, Walmart I wanted to deliver between 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm good for hours and hours and hours, but they told me it shouldn't be too long. The place that's supposed to come in here and fix it is right across the street. There's a Midway truck trailer repair place right across the street. I think that's who they're sending, but I'm kind of in a bad situation. I didn't park in a spot. I'm parked kind of up against, well, let me see if I can show you. Actually, okay. There's everything back there, but I'm up against this, like, it's just a dirt. I'm up against the dirt, right? So not the best place to be parked. But like I said, I have been getting fucked so bad that it is just another day. So I'm not even tripping off of it. There comes a point where it's just like, why even worry about it? What other adventurous stuff have I been going through? Nothing really. Did anybody watch today's safety meeting? Or as Tim Travels calls it, the pep rally? Did anybody watch that today? Leave it in the comment below. We're getting a little slow up here. Well, in case you missed it, let's talk about a couple things that were mentioned in that meeting today. Number one, they are moving forward on these cameras as fast as possible. That's number one. Number two, if you're on the yard, they're definitely looking at adding that shit to your truck when you go up there. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a good thing, though, from what they're saying. I mean, drivers are loving it. So you got that. And then basically, if it's something that you're not going to deal with, let them know in advance so they can start, start your exit strategy as soon as possible. That's basically what they said, was if it's not something that you want to do, let us know so we can start the exit process now. So that's kind of some other things that were said in the meeting today. If you weren't watching. What else? I don't know, just some stuff I just think, as much as they would like to, some of the stuff is just a little unrealistic. I understand some of the stuff might come back on you, but if they say that every single page of the bills needs to be signed, can you imagine going to some of these places and they sign the front page of your bill and not every other single page of that bill or front page of the bill or whatever it is, for every PO? Can you imagine what you would be going through trying to handle that? Or, I don't know, some of the stuff is just a little unrealistic, but they spoke about the prime culture. And the prime culture, I think, is about perspective. For those of you guys that are still watching, I just got in this truck, right? I haven't driven this truck in like over a year. And this has the different mirrors on it, right? So this has the epic, smaller Peterbilt mirrors. And it's like perspective. So when I got in this truck, these trucks, or these mirrors, were in place for my driver, in the perfect position for my driver to back this truck. Well, from my perspective, these mirrors were in no way set up to back a truck. So while they are set up for somebody to back up a truck, they weren't. From my perspective, they weren't. So I had to change them a little bit. And I think that when they talk about the culture at Prime, it's kind of the same way. You know, I talked to one of my boys, Craig, and he came to Prime like maybe exactly a year ago. And we'll have conversations every now and then. We'll talk about stuff, and, you know, he's like, couldn't be happier. Everything's perfect. Or not, maybe not everything's perfect, but he's happy. Everything's great. All this kind of stuff. And I can understand how somebody that came in after the fact would be thinking that. Because they're, you know, Prime does have a culture. The culture at Prime when I first started, I would like literally almost put that up against the culture close. I mean, even back then it wasn't quite there, but almost the culture of what the company I was working at before I came into Prime. It was a lot easier though for that company to have that tight-knit culture, because there was only like, you know, there weren't more than 50 people there at any given time, right? So it's easy to keep a tight culture in that. You know, Prime's culture started, you know, I've had conversations with a ton of people, you know, all the way from people that have been here 34 years all the way to people that started maybe, you know, 6 months ago. And I'm getting perspectives from all these different areas, but one thing that the people that have been here a long time ago, they've seen it kind of change a few times. But for the most part, you know, they're saying that they really saw a change, like right around, I mean, people are going to say COVID, but right around COVID, maybe right a little bit before, a little bit after that. But that's where the culture's kind of changed. So Prime still has a good culture, not anywhere near what it used to be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I think that's what a lot of us people that have been here a while, and I've only been here 5 years, need to realize is, you know what? It doesn't have to be the same culture. It doesn't have to be the place you want to get up and go to work every day. I never felt that way anyway. I don't really like driving trucks, so I never really had that feeling. But a lot of people felt like, you know what? I just woke up every day and I was happy to go to work and all this kind of stuff. Doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Just like I tell my wife sometimes, I don't gotta like a job. You know what I mean? It's a job. If I started liking this job too much, I don't think I would be as efficient at this job. But it's definitely taken it from more of a family atmosphere to a business atmosphere lately. And there's really nothing, you know, from a business perspective, from a Prime perspective, that doesn't really matter. Because company culture really, you know, company culture ain't paying the bills, I guess, is what their thoughts may be. So anyway, that's kind of that. What else is going on? That's about it. I don't really have too much to say about anything unless anybody wanted to come up with a topic or something, but I know somebody had asked about, you know, I had a driver that had left, and you know what, she left the right way. You know, I've had two drivers leave. One left the right way, one left the wrong way, but they both left clean trucks, so I couldn't be more than happy about that. But I was potentially, this question came up again. I was potentially thinking about adding on a driver, and as of right now, we're gonna be reducing this down. Once I get this truck out of here, get back in my 21, I'm gonna run this for a while and get my feet back under me real quick, and then probably look at getting my newer driver into this one. I'll stay in the 21 and then kind of go down from there. This is just way too much liability, like from a standpoint of what can actually happen out here. Too much exposure for me at this time in my working life to like really feel comfortable doing this. So we're gonna wind this shit down here. We're gonna wind this down and get down to a 3, and then depending on some other stuff, get down to, we're gonna have, just need to see where everybody's at. But we're gonna be reducing things. So I'm assuming most people are driving, which is why there ain't no comments coming in, which I can understand on that. But hey, if you're ever in this area, newer guys specifically that don't know where a lot of places to stop are, this Cinex between Grand Island and North Platte, Nebraska, it looks like one of them places where there's always going to be at least some kind of parking, whether you got to make a spot or something like that. There's tons of parking around here. So keep this in mind if you're out here late at night worried about somewhere to park. As a matter of fact, let me try to start my truck. See if by a fluke it'll start up. Maybe I could move out of the way. I'm not sure. I doubt it, but nope. So that's all. I didn't think it was going to take this much time for these people to get over here. The guy said that all he had to do was change out an air dryer cartridge in another truck, and he was going to be right on over. At least that's what Road Assist said, but maybe it's more than an air dryer. Maybe he needs a new compressor or something like that. Drain your air tanks. People, drain your air tanks. I'm going to say it one more time. Romaine, here's something if your trainer didn't tell you. Drain your air tanks. I was just in... where was I at? All this stuff blends together at some point. I was at a truck stop. And I was parked next to... Or I wasn't parked. I was getting fuel next to another truck. Prime truck. One of our fuel stops. Damn, where was it at? Oh, it was in Walkerville or something like that. Road Ranger. Which normally I don't go to Road Rangers, but the price difference was so extreme that I had to go do that. But I went there getting fuel, and I'm listening to this truck next to me, and you can tell kind of if a truck has too much moisture in the air compressor. It'll start making these like little ticking noises, like anyway, I start hearing that noise, and it was a younger driver, so I assumed that he might be new. So asked him when was the last time he drained his air tanks. He didn't know what I was talking about. So I had just kind of dealt with this. I drain my air tanks pretty frequently, but I'd gone through a bunch of water that was almost not cab height, but stair height in Oklahoma like a month ago or whatever, and I had a bunch of moisture in my air tanks. Well, anyway, his air tanks was making the same noise my air tanks was making once it'd gone through all that water. So I asked him, when was the last time he drained his air tanks? He didn't know about it. And I showed him how to drain his air tanks, and he literally had like a puddle of water under his compressor once we drained his air tank out. So, stuff to think about, especially if you've been going through a lot of humid areas, stuff like that. So, anyway, it looks like we're getting a little stagnant up here. I know most of the people that are watching this are probably just listening to it, driving down the road. So, I'm going to get off of here and hope that these people come out here and change this out. So, like I said, I don't need to start driving till like late night. And even then, I don't have to drive until probably another more than 24 hours from now if I had to. But I just want to I'm kind of not quite enough up against this edge to make me feel comfortable. I mean, nobody's going to hit me. There's plenty of room, but I just feel like I'm out here in no man's land. So I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe.